Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Every, Everyone's had a sumptuous lunch and feeling drowsy and sleepy, so I'm going to try and keep it as quick and as engaging as possible, okay? Because I have been in the situation that you have been, and I know it's terrible. It's a terrible slot, yeah. But anyway, thank you, Odoo, for giving me the most prized 2:30 slot. Thanks, Jeff. Right. Okay. So it's an interesting topic, okay, because it's not technical. I'm not trying to, give you some insights about technology aspects, but I'm just trying to give you some insights about where we are in software and what are some of the real problems that you have when you actually build something, take it into the field and get people to use something, and then what happens and how we try to solve it using a very innovative solution. Okay, so you can just go to the next slide. Okay, so this is a story. It's not about software, like I was saying, right? You can just go to the next slide. So who are we? Okay, so we are Ant Systems. We are a very unique software company. We provide technology solutions for animal care and management. What we do is we work with zoological parks, conservation projects. We work with various organizations around the world that want to, bring technology into the field of animal care and management. Now, you might wonder, what is animal care and management? Well, if anyone has been to a zoo or a zoological park, right? Thousands of animals, different species. It's like running a small city, right? From things like feeding, healthcare, hygiene, maintenance. There's a whole team of people that's their entire job is basically to ensure that the animal's well-being is taken care of, right? What we noticed is in this field, there is not much technology penetration, okay? People still, not just in India, all over the world, people in the zoo space still use pencil and paper to manage their stuff, right? So when we went and explored this situation, we said, okay, how can we bring in technology? So that's what we did. Our core product is an animal management system. It is a mobile-first product, and it helps zookeepers around the world manage their daily, zoo-related tasks. We also work with conservation projects and, using machine learning and, AI tools to help observe animal behavior using just CCTV cameras, right? Pretty exciting stuff. Now, next slide. Now, how does Odoo fit into it, right? So when we go and meet zoos, they say, great software, but we are cash strapped. We don't have funds. We don't have money for another software suite. So what we started doing is we went to them and said, look, you must be spending some money in HR management. You have a HR app. Great. Tick that box, okay? You need something for inventory management. Okay, let's tick that box, right? So we started ticking all of these boxes that are not related to animal care and management, but are fairly commoditized software that's already available in the market. And it made a natural fit for us to plug Odoo as sort of an ancillary service around our core animal management software. That's it. Simple solution, right? So suddenly now when I have conversations with zoos and they say, we don't have money or we don't have budget for animal management, we say, look, just use our point of sale system. Odoo is providing it. You can tick that box. HR management, you can tick that box. Attendance, scheduling, maintenance, everything, right? We can just add these modules and suddenly I can reduce your total cost of software that the zoo spends, and they can take those funds and put it into actual stuff that matters, which is taking care of the animals, right? That's what we are here for. So that's how Odoo fit in, right? Seemed like a perfect solution. Next slide, please. So we can get real-time visibility with inventory, no human errors, you can just process everything. There's so much of chaos in the zoo world, and we could solve all these problems by just bringing and plugging in Odoo, right? Next slide. But it seems like a perfect fit in theory, but when you go in the real world and you implement it, what we started seeing is you're dealing with a organization which has been using paper, and you're asking them to start using Odoo, right? Big gap. You see that dashboard, that's an actual dashboard. Okay, everything is zero, right? So I had funny conversations with the people running the zoo. You go and sit and they say like, Arun, you set up the software, inventory management, ek mahina ho gaya. What's happening? My report is saying zero. Why? Then I'll go and ask the guy who's managing the inventory, dude, what's going on? Sir, your software is too complicated, you know? I have to click this button, uske baad I have to go here, click this, I have to fill this, and then this breaks. I don't know. I was doing it all these years on paper, I'm going to continue doing it on paper, right? So major clash of ideas, people are getting fed up because I don't have time to sit and learn one software, yeah? Okay, I was doing it properly before. No, who are these guys who are coming and disrupting my life, right? And then the boss is saying, I don't see reports. I'm saying if the guy at the ground does not enter data, how will you see the reports? But all of these arguments will fall flat when you enter people's lives who are busy with their own stuff. You can't justify it by saying, I'm providing you with a software platform, it's going to solve all your problems. Well, it isn't solving your problems, right? So that was the first thing that hit us as soon as we started implementing it, right? So we were like, okay, what if you didn't have to learn Odoo? Okay? What if you could just train the software to understand the people the other way around, you know? What if the software can actually work for the people instead of people working on the software? And is that possible today? I'm sure you guys are all like keying into ChatGPT every day, right? Huh? So we are entering a new phase. Okay? So I see a lot of companies sitting and working on software user interface. Click this button, then go here, do this, then do that. Well, the future is that you don't really have to do any of those things. We are entering a phase where we can simply speak to the software and it can do the functions that we want it to do. So what does it mean, for software? What does it mean for user interface? What does it mean for graphic user interface or user experiences, right? It is going to change. So so this is what we did, okay? Next slide. So we did a sort of an AI chatbot that works on top of Odoo, right? And instead of speaking, I'll let my colleague Akash, we built this like in a month, okay? In a very short period of time. And he can sort of explain to you how we actually did it, right? It's not rocket science. So again, like I said, this talk is really not about technology and stuff like that. It's about how some small things can make massive impacts. So he's going to show you a demo, and we are all going to close our eyes and pray to the demo gods and hope that nothing fails. Usually it fails. So please be kind to us. This is a quick and dirty demo, right? A few things might break, but it has had a massive impact, at least in changing the attitudes of the people using the software in the field, right? And hopefully, at the end of this, you guys can implement a lot of these ideas in whatever tools that you're building, right? Because I see this as a massive step in the future. Okay, Akash.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. So let's start with a basic question, hey, how are you, right? So just a minute. I'm just asking, hey, we just have to wait for a couple of seconds and it gives answer like I'm Ands AI, please help me with the questions, I'll assist you, right? So now as a manager, I want to see how many purchase orders are there in my system, right? So I'll just type.
It also works as spelling mistakes, okay?
Cool. So it is showing all of the purchase order that has been created till now. You can see the status, you can see the vendor name and all, right? Now I want to see the some details of purchase order, let's say PO004. I'll just type no, I think this P0005. Oh yeah, it's difficult to type actually. Yeah.
Difficult to type looking there and here. Okay, great. Yeah, just copy and paste that. Fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
here it is.
so let's just pause here for a second. How do you think this is going to impact when you are interacting with software like this? What do you think is the impact? Anyone from the audience, can you all give me some insights? What do you think is going to happen? Any ideas? Is this a big change or you think it's a small change? I guess so, but also I think the way people interact with software is going to completely change. Okay, now just picture this. Imagine I don't have to type. This poor guy is sitting and typing there. Okay, what if I can just speak to it? Possible? What if I can talk to it in Gujarati? Because I don't know English. Possible? What if I ask the software, I don't know how to enter a purchase order information. Can you just show me in steps? Can it do that? Can do it. So I don't think anyone, very few people are understanding the impact this is going to have in the industry. Okay, this is a groundbreaking impact, and it took us 30 days to set this up. Okay, it's not very difficult. It's very easy. Okay, and so it has far-reaching implications. Now you can even do things like create. Now create is a little bit more complicated because it's multi-step. I need to know what to enter. So we're going to try it out. Let's see if it works.
I'll just create Arun employee, Arun Benty.
Please add me as an employee.
Oh, my bad, sorry. Yeah.
It's fine. It's okay. Just continue.
That's fine. Okay, sorry.
Now, obviously, you need more information here, right?
Yes.
So you see that the system will still understand, right? I mean, there's not enough information required. So, has it?
Yeah, it has.
It has entered.
Let me show that.
Yeah. So great. So it did. But what if I had not probably put the email address? Then maybe it would have asked me, listen, email address is missing. Please add the email address as well. So, I think before has it added?
Yeah, first one. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so the actual proof in the pudding, guys. It's not, it's not faking it with some screens, okay?
Yeah.
Actually showing you how it's actually working. Okay, so I think we can stop with the demo. Everyone understands where we're going with this, right? So, see, the idea is that we didn't use this from a gimmick point of view, right? We used this to show what happens when you implement portions of this in real world. So just go to the next slide. So we had some amazing results. People actually started using it, in the field. They started using the application a lot more. Yeah,
Yep.
right? We saw some amazing, well, basically we just removed the whole training part of it. There was no requirement for training. Because any question you ask, open the AI assistant, ask. This had sweeping changes in the organization, how they deal with it, right? Previously, I became the linchpin here. The guy who in the department will blame the software guy. The boss will ask the employee, क्या हुआ? Why have not entered? They'll say, sir, software काम नहीं कर रहा है, मुझे पता नहीं. Okay, then the guy will catch me. Okay, why is your software not working? Blah, 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 round table conference, right? So what happened was with this, we just removed that part. Now the boss is asking, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you enter the information? He's like, he has no excuse. You can't say, I don't know. Why you don't know? Ask the AI assistant. I saw the demo. I know it works. Jao, kaam karo, right? It had amazing changes. So this is what I'm talking about. Certain aspects in technology have groundbreaking impact on the field. Okay, we might think that maybe our user interface is not designed properly. Maybe that's what we need to do. Well, no, those days are gone. So when you're designing new modules, when you're designing new interfaces today, please have this in mind, okay? That in the future, maybe not immediately, but in the next 6 months, when I say future nowadays, I use months, okay? It's strange, but that's the future we are living in. 6 months, 1 year down the line, right? You will not be wasting time in designing user interfaces or flows. No. You have to design your products in such a way that an AI agent or an LLM can understand what you're trying to accomplish. Because this is how people are going to interface with your software. They're going to talk to it, right? So, and it's going to have like massive impact. Okay, so key takeaways from this talk, look at adoption head on. Very important. You might be building software, but if it is not being used, there is absolutely no use. Okay, so Odoo, perfect platform. It's mature. It's got everything that you need. However, there are adoption problems. Okay, I know we've all faced this. Whoever's in the Odoo ecosystem has faced adoption-related problems. So the future is conversational, guys. Okay, so start looking at plugging in AI-based systems, and then you can solve a lot of problems. That's about it. You have any questions? We are open for questions. Yes.
Even I'm in this field of AI development. The major thing which I face the issue, thanks so much. The major issue which I am facing at this moment, and which even I noticed, that we were having only 4 to 5 records for the purchase order, and it was taking around 13 seconds. I measured it out. It was taking around 13 seconds to give the output. Now, what if we are having thousands of records in the database? How much efficient or how much time consuming it will be AI to generate the output for our queries which we are asking to it?
Yeah, great question. Okay, like I said, this is not the silver bullet for all the problems. Okay, so what typically the way you have to design these sort of systems is, it's like I said, we use it from an educational point of view. Okay, to say, okay, if you want to get inventory related information, this is the steps that you need to do. You can even make the AI, redirect the user to the actual report interface and say, like, I can show you 4 records here, but you want to see the whole thing, click here, it will take you to that place. It's how you design it, okay? So it's not going to solve all these problems for you, all the problems for you, right? From this problem that you're speaking about in terms of data, okay, the large amount of volumes of data and stuff like that, what is your objective? Like you're saying, okay, can you pull out the report for me or something, or generate a PDF? What was your request? Yeah, maybe Rohit can answer that.
Just to quickly explain, this is a demo, not on the live system. Second, so most of the records you're seeing are all test records, because we can't really show live records on screen. The second part is that it's not directly proportional to the number of records in the system. So it doesn't mean that if there are 5 records, it takes X amount of time, and if there are 50,000 records, it will take X into 50,000. So there is no, it's not a correlation. it possibly, the response times are in the 5 to 7 second range anyway for most results.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of optimization that we have to do. Okay, so we've built similar conversational analytics systems for large databases, right? It's how you structure it. Okay, so there are ways
Also,
of,
it's also dependent on the kind of question you ask. So if it's a basic query, it's quite fairly straightforward. But if you're looking for reasoning, you want interpretation of that, then it is taking a little bit longer. But again, you're looking at about 10, 12 seconds. And now the goal is also to build it because the LLMs are getting faster. So we every 6 months right now the rate is almost doubling every 3.5 months, right? So in 6 months we'll be 4 times faster. So I have no problem with getting to that point in 6 months. The customers are happy with the 7 to 8, 10 seconds.
it's better than 1 week waiting for a report from your employee, right? Yes. Any other questions? Yes.
Actually present the basic problem that the software is there, but because of the inconvenience of staff, you not receive any results. So there is you train the software, get the results. So in a practical form, is it possible to do all the inventory in a one shot?
When you say all inventory means like all the operations.
Oh yeah, in inventory operation for a manufacturer.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, there's nothing stopping you from sort of extrapolating this and performing all operations. Okay, it's just how you configure, the system. It's I think Akash can give you a little bit more technical insights in terms of how we have done the like I said, the creation process is a little bit more complicated. Okay, because they're a multi-step process.
Yeah.
There could be validations, there could be lots of other conditions and stuff like that. But it's definitely possible. So we have to pick and choose which one you want to, what sort of problems you want to solve for the LLM and AI agent to do versus where you need human oversight, right? So you can definitely build those processes.
There is a number of the AI agents working in this platforms.
It's just one agent.
It's
one agent. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not multiple agents, no.
Okay. Thank you.
So basically, you have created a chatbot to enter the information and show it on the UI. We can create a simple UI for that, maybe a lookup field where you don't need to even remember the codes or the purchase orders. For example, if you are even putting the wrong information, you can just write P00 and it will automatically show you the drop down and you can select from that.
Yes.
So I think for this purpose, chatbot, I would say case study would be better if we have the more interpretations or more complex scenario rather than just taking and showing information on the UI. And for the second part of this is in the backend, it should be creating some queries or picking up some queries based on that. I'm not too much into Odoo, but I'm hoping that will be running in the backend. So the thing is, you have to write the commands in a way so that it will pick up. Okay, let's suppose you have 5 actions. It will pick up the right action out of that. So how difficult it is to train the people to write the correct command. And the first question was, do you think for setting and getting, it will be better if we have a UI rather than having the chatbot?
Great question. Okay, so see, what you're seeing is just a chat interface. Okay, and you're right. It's sometimes it's very inefficient way of dealing with the system. So there is this new concept called just-in-time user interfaces, right? So you can imagine a chatbot where it dynamically gives you an interface in the chat interface, and you can actually see it happening in some of the tools that are being released in the market. If you're using tools like, say, if you use coding assistants like Klein, or if you use coding assistants like Cursor, for instance, right? Based on the prompt or based on the request that you have, let's say it wants an input. It will, on the fly, it will create a drop down. It will give you the information there. So we're entering a world where the user interface is generated on the fly while having a conversation. So that's one question. Okay, so definitely it will get there. We're still scratching this 3-4 months old. Okay, this whole technology. Right. When it comes to the implementation, it's not really from a chatbot point of view where the trick is. How many of you all know what an MCP server is? A model context protocol, right? This is something that all of you all will be talking about in the next year. Okay? A model context protocol, an MCP server is what we used to build it. So we didn't even write any code. Okay? So an MCP server basically understands the API infrastructure.
Database architecture and all,
We
right?
can give
API
you a little
architecture,
bit of
database architecture. It knows what to call, what is the database, what is the architecture of database, what is the model, what is the table that I have to call when someone writes sales order. It knows sale.order is my model that I have to use.
Yeah. Those days are gone. Okay, so basically here what you're doing is you're using an LLM, you're using an AI to even understand the internal structures, and it automatically makes the necessary calls. That's the reason in the example, right? When you ask a question like, when you say, okay, please enter employee information and you don't provide email, how does it know that, hey, you have to give email also, right? It's a multi-step process. So you don't really have to code for all of those scenarios. So that's the reason why please explore Model Context Protocol. It's going to be a game changer in the industry. Everyone is exploring it, and Odoo still has a few options available, and we use one of those options and we built this fairly quickly. Yes, that's it. Okay, done. Thank you.
Thank you so much.